polished, perfect videos with the absolute right script and the teleprompters, and I'm just in awe of the people who nail that. What is possible to get content out to your community about what's real in this moment and about what's in your mind? We just want to make sure that the way you're doing it is done in a way that's actually serving your community and it's attractive and compelling to make them want to come back. So we're actually going to switch gears for a second. We're going to move into the conversation about lead generation. And how does social media, what's emerging, allow us to serve our community better by getting them into our programs, right? Because it's great when they're out there, but it's amazing and worthwhile when it's coming to us. So, Mari, since you've got the mics, can you give us just one thought on how we might be using Facebook Live constructively to bring those leads back into some kind of a lead magnet or platform on our own site?
Okay, 3 things to say real quick. Number 1, verbally, when you're broadcasting, you can say to people, go to such and such URL. Go to marismith.com/, whatever it might be, or whatever your URL is. So verbally say that, and don't be afraid to repeat it a few times, because let's say you broadcast for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, then you don't know who's dropping in and out. By the way, a great example just for somebody to check out is Doreen Virtue. Everybody heard of Doreen Virtue, right? She was one of the first people to embrace Facebook Live in August last year when it first came out. And she does like an angel reading and a blessing and a meditation, I want to say at least once a week. And she's very consistent. And her fans know, and they tune in. She gets between 100 and 200,000 viewers on each of her lives. Wow. It's really, really awesome. So verbally say it then, and also when I mentioned about including the title, but what you can then do is when you're back on desktop, it doesn't work on mobile, when you're back on your desktop, you can go in and you edit that video. Yeah. You edit the video to then put in the description the URLs, and that's a clickable link, and in addition, you can choose the thumbnail, and you can put a call to action there, and you can put a call to action button so that as soon as the video is finished playing, people just tap and off they go to your site. And of course, then you can amplify with the paid reach, as I said at the times.
Great.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about lead gen.
Yeah, we got to talk about video.
I don't want to steal the show, but lead gen is a real important topic to me, right? Because we backed away from video spot from the big subscriber model. Now I'm not anti-big subscriber model, but my YouTube channel has right around 8,000 subscribers, and my income exceeds that of YouTubers with 100,000 subscribers on their channel. In fact, I have YouTubers coming to me and saying, "I'm not making any money, man," and I can tell them why. Revenue first, right? That's the model that we believe in, right? Because I don't want to be like, it's like a money first thing, but you've got to support yourself. You've got to be able to get your message funded so you can reach more people, okay? So we believe in that model. Video ads on Facebook and on YouTube are available with so much inventory because no one knows how to really get on video. Okay, so that is a huge opportunity for everyone in this room to take your camera, do 2 minutes, 1 minute on your product, your program, your service, and how to take advantage of it. Put it on YouTube as an ad. Put it on Facebook as a video ad, and put $100 behind it. You'll see, because there's so much inventory, but not enough people buying it. It's a supply and demand thing. You're going to get views for 2 cents. You're going to get views for 4 cents, clicks for 5 cents. And those are going to go right into your ClickFunnels or Instapage's conversion event, right? Let me hear it. They're opting in, right? And here's the best part, is someone might go to YouTube, right? And they're going to look up John Lee Dumas podcasting course. But then I have an ad that says, before you watch this video, click right here and get my podcasting course. I've usurped, right, a thought leader and grabbed the lead. So think about that and how you might be able to quickly get up on video ads for your business.
Well, we wouldn't do that to anyone in here, right? All right, so, but it's a great point is that, you know, and something to be aware of is there's a lot of really interesting ways to drive traffic with ads, and they may or may not all be ones you're using, so it's great strategies. John, do you have something you really want to talk about, Lise? Because I actually want to talk about podcasting. Sure. So there's a couple of things. One, there was a question that came in, and I'm going to have you read it because I think your eyes are younger than mine. But before we get into that question, John, you literally went from like starting to having this massive following. What do you think was the number one reason why your podcast grew so quickly?
So there's a number of things that go into whenever I see people having what seems to be overnight success. I will say number one, like, I don't believe in overnight success. Like, I spent 10 years failing and struggling and trying before I hit that thing that worked. So there was a lot of experience that went into the launch of my podcast and a lot of things that I learned over the years. But when Entrepreneur on Fire did launch in September 2012, it did hit the ground running, and it was really a success from the beginning and has only grown since then. And I think you can really capitalize off of what Mari was just saying. I mean, that woman who was early, she was an early adopter, and she has been consistent since that point of being an early adopter. She took that initial momentum and she's been consistent, and she's grown her audience exponentially because of it. The same was for me. I mean, podcasting started in 2004. I started 8 years later, but podcasting didn't explode until just about 2 or 3 months after I launched my podcast, because the technology caught up finally with podcasting. And so it started becoming mainstream in early 2013. It's only grown since then. So my timing was great. And what was great about my model is that I was really filling a void that was out there that I saw as a podcast consumer. I was driving to work 7 days a week. I was going to the gym, a few days a week, and I was looking for free content to consume, and there was not a daily podcast interviewing entrepreneurs. So I identified this void that was missing in the world, and I filled it with a podcast. And I need to be very clear, and you can go back, and this is the thing about podcasts, you can go back, episode 1 through 400 were not great episodes. Like, I was not a great podcast host. I was not even a good I had no experience, no online presence whatsoever, but I just had to podcast if I was going to become a podcaster. I knew that intrinsically, so I had to do that over and over again. So I just kept podcasting. Where my model worked from day one and kept working was because I had amazing guests early, like Mari, like Melanie, who they brought value. Right. I wasn't able to produce value necessarily from day one. I can now at episode 1300, but I wasn't able to at episode 1, 200, 250. But my guests were thought leaders, they had authority and credibility, and they were dropping value bombs on every one of my shows. So my show kept going. And the beautiful thing too about being an interview-based show is that every single morning to this day, the first email that leaves my inbox is to my guest whose interview just went live. And I'm saying, Mari, Melanie, like, your interview just went live today. You rocked the mic. I would be so honored if you would share your journey, your story with your audience. Here are all the links to do so. And I make it simple with one-click Facebook, one-click Twitter, one-click all of these different things, just making it really simple for them. And so every single day, my show is being exposed to a brand new set of audience and ears, some of whom are subscribing, some of whom are becoming listeners and telling their friends. And that exponential growth brought me from day 1 of 11 listens to day 1300 and 1.25 million listens per month, which is where we're at right now. So that is the kind of growth. It goes to the consistency. It goes to being an early adopter. But if you missed the early adopter, like, it's not too late. You just have to find that void that needs to be filled, and then you fill it. Because people have come after me and crushed their podcast because they found that unique void that needed to be filled in health and fitness, in music, and whatever that might be, and they've done just that. So that's really where I would say I succeeded.
Thank you for sharing that. So